Good evening, all of you. Assalamu alaikum. I'm sure those who have given their time and we are waiting for an engaging session today. So we are slowly admitting our, enthusiastic audience today who are really interested to listen to this wonderful topic. So we are just going to take a little more time because I think slowly people are falling in and it's already the time, so we can begin. So I would request all of our, the participants who are there should open their screen for a while and then they can share their names. We are already here today to discuss a hot and happening topic, living with AI, threat or opportunity. So I'm sure all of you are interested and you are really interested to know what is really in store for you, what is exactly waiting. So we would be having a wonderful time discussing such an interesting topic, which is really the happening thing today. Everywhere you are going, people are talking about AI. It's a center stage. It's a buzzword. People are really worried. People are interested. People are curious. So we really want to know what exactly is happening. So I welcome you all on behalf of Positive Mental Attitude and WellBrained. It's really an opportunity. We have Mr. Mohammed. Hi, Mr. Mohammed. So we have our participants connecting from the different parts of the world. We have people connecting from Pakistan, from Saudi, from Dubai, from India. So it's going to be an international forum. So we are so glad that we have really gone beyond the geographical, borders, and AI is definitely the thing for which we can go miles and miles. So I'm sure that's the beauty of technology. So we are connecting today for this wonderful discussion today in this evening. So I would really welcome all our speakers today, all our learned speakers, our experts who are in this forum who would be discussing on this topic, that how exactly we can make this a game changer, as the title goes, living with AI. So I sometimes think that AI is it artificial intelligence or alien intelligence? Because for people who have really not understood what artificial intelligence is, maybe for us or many of us, it's still a mystery. So how long we would consider it to be an alien force or a friend or a companion which can really make our life altogether a different thing. But if you're really interested to know how exactly you can learn the skills of artificial intelligence, then you should be tuned for this wonderful session today. I would request if somebody, you can just mute yourself, Mr. Hassan. All right. So we would be having a wonderful session. So we have our speakers ready. We have Mr. Arnab Boral, who is basically one of the senior speakers in the industry. And he has been working with several, IT companies in past. And presently he's a, great soft skill trainer. He's also an AI trainer. He's speaking on different forums. And recently he's engaged with some campus to corporate programs. I have with me Mr. Arijit Bhattacharya, who is from Virtual Infocom, is the CEO. He's also known as a serial entrepreneur. He has got a lot of accolades in terms of the AI, because he has been recently with us in one of our workshops in India in 2024 December. And we are happy to partner with Mr. Arijit Bhattacharya here today. Welcome, Mr. Arijit.
Pleasure. Happy to be here always.
Thank you. We have here Professor Arijit Basu, who is my professor since my PhD or doctorate times. I have learned a lot from him. He might look young, but he's a cornerstone of wisdom, I should say. He basically has got a lot of energy, lot of new ideas, and definitely is working as a consultant for the sales and how to empower the business. So he's definitely going to enlighten in this topic. I have my business partner, Madam Gunjan Bhatia, here today from Multi Careers. So she is here also today. So happy to get you, Madam, here today.
Thank you, sir. Good evening.
Thank you. We have also Mr. Hassan. So Mr. Hassan is the key person here who has connected so many people from So I welcome Mr. Mohammad Hassan, who is also a partner now for Positive Mental Attitude. He's from the organization WellBrained. He's the CEO. So I would request Mr. Hassan if you can open your camera and say hi to all of us.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming on board.
Yeah, so it's really an opportunity for us to connect with all of you today, and definitely AI is a happening thing, and I'm sure we all want to know more about this topic. But let us first start with some, the basic onset of this entire, the topic. Why exactly when we are talking? Because I believe from the time immemorial, artificial intelligence always existed, and we all have been unaware of this fact that AI always have been living in this earth. But how exactly we become curious suddenly when AI becomes so much predominant in the society everywhere? We are talking about the development, discoveries, and so many things happening. And I'm sure, like, our mind, as usual, is always inquisitive to know the unknown, and that is the pursuit of science. So we are actually trying to know the new things, how exactly these things can be learned, how we can utilize this beauty of AI for the betterment of the mankind, how exactly we can make our society more developed, how we can have more harmony, more sustainability in our economy. So as we understand that we have to bring innovation through sustainability, so of course we cannot deny the fact that AI will be tomorrow a friend and not a foe. And how exactly to do that? For this, we have taken this initiative from PMA and WellBrained to organize this wonderful, interaction today. It's more of an enlightenment, more of a sensitization, because we are just going to reveal some good thing at the end of this entire, interaction today, this wonderful webinar. So I would basically like to ask my learned speakers today that what exactly they think about this entire revolution, or I should say evolution, because now living with AI is something which has to be, accepted by all of us. So there is no such denial that AI will not be there. So you have been always hearing that the future is AI, but trust me, that days is now here. It is no more a future, it's a present for you. It's time for us to embrace the new technology and understand that how we live with this artificial intelligence or alien intelligence, as you call. So now exactly we would be trying to discuss step by step. So first I would go to Professor Arijit. Professor Basu, how exactly you see this entire artificial intelligence? Is it a timely disruption which really has changed the entire world? And how exactly you see this disruption is going to be beneficial for the mankind?
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Das, for putting this forward. It's the correct time we are having this discussion, because when the world is also in such a forum at Paris, where all the world leaders are talking about this, and actually we are also sharing with our participants the same context. Now, coming to your point, I think so. What rightly you said. We are already into the era. It's no more an alien intelligence. Okay. Today, if I put it things in this way, everything is artificial intelligence, and going forward, that would be the game changer. Now, how we look into it is one, how the mankind would develop themselves. Whether we look at it that they will drive us or we will drive them. So this is something that we need to ask question to ourselves. Now, if we want to drive them, I think so that's where the opportunity lies with us and the generations ahead, because harnessing AI would actually help us creating new opportunities. And how do we do that? Probably, looking into how we could develop them, regulate them, as well as imbibe them into our regular day-to-day activities. That will create an evolution where we can co-create things. And I think so that's what the game changer would be all about. So coming back to your point, yes, it's an opportunity for all of us, but the way we harness AI would help us in taking or going forward to the right direction.
Absolutely, I really align with your thoughts, Professor. So I would just quickly go to our next speaker, Mr. Bural. Mr. Bural, where exactly you see the mankind is heading to? do you think that we would be really able to pace up with this artificial intelligence, or we will be going to a point when we are really always having the fear? I mean, this fear always existed, that a day will come when machines will be superior than human. Then what will happen? So what exactly do you think? Is it really the right time that we should try to pace up with the technology, or we should be afraid that the machine someday is going to be superior than the mankind?
Well, glad to join in. Firstly, what I would say is I have been working with students who are particularly studying to become experts in AI at this minute. And besides that, I have worked with other people in the industry as well. And what I understand is that, like Professor just mentioned a couple of minutes ago, that the perception is probably still misperceived. Let me put it this way, because what happens is the understanding is missing. So here's the thing: AI is here for the benefit of mankind, because as long as we can garner it in the right way. Now, like we have already seen, when we initially thought of computers, mismanaged internet usage, mismanaged, technology has definitely shown us some very strange and pathetic deviations as well. Now, obviously, if I look at that, that is there. However, I can also definitely, all of us can vouch for it, that similarly, on the other hand, technology has also brought us far ahead from where we used to be before this technology actually came into our lives. So similarly, AI would effectively do the same thing. It would take us headstrongly forward, whereas there would definitely be certain tweaks and turns we would have to be careful about, be able to manage, probably learn to manage. I think Arijit would also be able to, Arijit Bhattacharya, he would be the perfect person to probably add in here. But then actually speaking, that is exactly where I see this coming from. The whole idea is we need to be able to harness its power, ensuring that we don't let it get to our darker side. Over to you, Professor Das.
Thank you so much for enlightening us. I will quickly go to Mr. Arijit Bhattacharya, who is really nowadays very popular across the media and across the the different forums speaking on artificial intelligence. So I'm sure he has got himself quite seasoned speaking on different forums. So my question to you, Mr. Bhattacharya, that where exactly do you see the technology transforming and taking the mankind to be, and do you think that the mankind is really ready for this transformation?
Excellent question. To be very honest, probably we have been living on AI age for last a minimum 7-8 years without even realizing that AI already impacted us. If we look at our shopping style, if you look at the way e-commerce evolved, if you look at the way nowadays, if we go to even a normal market, the way we choose things, everything has been directly or indirectly impacted by AI. Now, how it happened? It happened because of lot many different kind of implementation that happened in the background. For an example, I'll try to make it simple for everyone. For an example, when you go for shopping in e-commerce, we probably have a habit of choosing certain amount of products which we like. Sometimes, probably some of our family members also do it. Practically speaking, in the back end, the system knows it, whether we are doing it or our family members are doing it. Depending on the movement of our finger or the browsing capabilities, or maybe the choice and test that we have, which is already happening. Now, coming back to the implementation factor and what is coming up in next, and maybe the fear factor, I would love to maybe touch base upon that. If we look at factories, manufacturing units, definitely they can optimize their cost. Definitely we can optimize a lot of things, mainly in AI, in healthcare, in maybe smart city development. But at the same time, there is a huge risk, and that risk is not coming from AI. That risk is coming from the big data that we pump in into the AI itself. These are all mainly, I can say, the junk data that we feed in from the social media, feed in from various platforms that we use. And sometimes when we speak, I'm sure all of us using the smartphone. So when we speak, the phone listens. Even though there is an internet connection, it is listening to us. So what kind of data we are feeding and how we are making ourselves vulnerable, that's a big question, Dr. Das. I would love to maybe take one example. Um, I have seen, at least in India, lot many people to get likes or maybe some amount of money in social media, they put their kids in front of the screen without even knowing that that can be deepfaked. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm really sorry, but without even knowing that, we are maybe making a nuisance, creating a system where scammers can use the voice, use the face, they can create a character which will look exactly like the kid, maybe after 10 years or 15 years, and they can use it for various different works. And there, if you look at the recruitment service, nowadays, HR is taking care of the CV using the small AI tools. Now imagine a 5 years down the line future where the same kid is going a bash just because their parents did some odd work in social media. So maybe the question we should ask ourselves, not to the AI, pointing the gun towards that, because that system is a little bit of half intelligent system at the moment, understanding its own power by getting all those feed that we are giving it to him, right? So maybe the answer lies within us as a human being, how we can use our gray matter and feed it for betterment rather than use it for maybe some odd different data feeding system. Just my observation.
Very true. I'm really enriched with that, and I'm sure like those who are listening to this particular interaction, they are also taking this important, the takeaways that you should be very conscious because AI should be handled more responsibly since it's a kind of a superpower, as Mr. Arijit or Mr. Arnav or Professor Basu has highlighted. So we have to be more responsible and we have to use the proper logic while we're using this technology. Very true. So I just want to have a question to Professor Basu here that we all know that AI is here to, empower us, but don't you think that somewhere it is also widening the inequality? Because if we don't have the proper reform, because still we find that in many universities and colleges, AI is not a part of the curriculum. However, in many countries, people are taking initiative to make it one of the important part of the curriculum. But by the time we do that, we are already in a lapse. We are already lagging behind. So, what exactly do you think that how as Arijit rightly pointed, that the gun is on us, not on the technology. So, how exactly the people who are at the decision-making point are thinking on this? How we are trying to integrate, or rather, this difference is really going to widen up the inequality among different segments. Over to you.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Das. I think so. This is a question which, as parents, as students, as responsible citizens, we should ask ourselves. I have seen different aspects of the society. I was into corporate for 20 years. Then I moved into the academics or the teaching profession, and I'm also working as consultant to various organizations. Now, one thing which comes straight away to my mind is when you talk about inequality, how are we actually educating or transforming the next generation is very important. See, as parents, we take responsibility of designing career for our children. Now, that could be as doctors, that could be as engineers, that could be across different verticals. Okay, have we ever thought, when AI is actually taking the world for a toss, do our our kids, or do our son or daughter actually develop a career in that, where probably they try to harness the skills, they try to upskill themselves, they try to understand what is the new job opportunities which would come. Now we are talking on one of a couple of threats, that there would be job disruptions, there could be jobs which would be going away, there could be redundancy of jobs. But are we also thinking of the kind of new job creations would be there, and are we getting prepared for that? My question is this to the new generation and to the responsible citizens of different nations. We're talking about inequality, but what are we doing with the opportunities that we can grasp, to train ourselves, to reskill ourselves, to develop ourselves to this, right? So once we start doing this, I think so there should be parity across different level, different nations, because I do not think that what Silicon Valley is doing could be very different if opportunities could be given to India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, or whichever, or Saudi. So it is the opportunity that we can take, and we can build on that to narrow down the inequality of the skill. I would put it in that way. And days would come where everything would be on open sources and people can learn from them, and there could be institutes who could actually handle students to start early and to groom and grow themselves, so that they can be at pace with evolving nations. I think that's what they take out, and we should be held accountable from academics, or maybe as professionals, to guide them and take them forward. Yeah, over to you.
Thank you so much. We would be like going to our next speaker, Arnab. Arnab, what exactly do you think that we often talk about, skilling and reskilling people, and this is the right time when we are talking about, bringing in people who really are the right, or maybe the influencers who can show us the right model. But we can always see that whenever any new technology comes, there are always some biases. So do you think that the people whom we really think that they are the the role models, or the people who are influencing us at this point, are they really doing their job properly? Because recently there were a lot of backlash with people influencing people in the wrong way. I'm not going to that, but I'm talking about AI particularly, where you see that a lot of organizations are bringing their new product. Recently, DeepSeek was in the market, and people have been talking about how exactly it is going to revolutionize the market. It is talking about the generative AI taking a new transformation. It is a large language model which will definitely outgrow and outperform the other LLMs in the market. So at this point, people who are really definitely bringing, or maybe if you go back to the olden times when OpenAI started, there were two teams, one which was a profit making team and the non-profit making team. So there was also a lot of discussions going around. So what exactly do you think these opinion makers, or the influencers, or the key opinion leaders, are they really reliable at this? And what exactly is your stand and what you are thinking?
Well, firstly, I am particular. If you particularly talk about influencers, I think the entire idea of influencers is very overrated at this minute, and which is why the impact, though it should have been a positive one, unfortunately has gone beyond control, because influencing is I mean, when I talk about an influencer, or when we necessarily talk about an influencer, what we would ideally think about is positive influence. Now, unfortunately, what is happening at the current minute is, rather than a positive influence, the entire scenario has changed. There's more of negative influence. There's more of influence which is off the required track. So there are, I think, most of the influencers that are getting followed now, the actual influencers who needed to get followed are not getting followed as much as the negative ones. Does that make sense, Dr. Das?
Perfect. I really thank Arnab for highlighting this part. I will quickly go to our new member and fellow.
What I would probably add in here,
Okay.
sorry,
We'll listen to you.
I wanted to add in. So I wanted to add in here that what happened very recently, in fact, within the last week, uh, a friend of mine, well, a colleague of mine, basically what he did was he actually used a particular website where he added his own photo, which is used on LinkedIn. Okay. And based on the photograph, that particular website wrote up a paragraph which was this paragraph basically proposed her level of purchasing power based on the kind of dress, based on the kind of her facial features and the hair do, and specifically mentioned after that what are the kinds of products and services that this person is going to be interested in. And beat that, I mean, this is exactly what's happening with AI now. So everybody can utilize this, and this is beyond your control. I mean, I can put in my photograph with my child. Probably going forward, any organization would start proposing, child products to me based on my child's age. And I imagine, how did they know about my child's age? Based on the photograph. So that's where it is right now. You're on mute, Dr. Das, I guess.
I'm sorry. So I'm saying we'll come to that. We have a question on ethics. So there we would be definitely talking about this. But before that, I will quickly go to our new speaker who has added, Mr. Karan. Welcome, Mr. Karan.
Thank you so much.
So grateful to you that you could make it. So
thank you very much, Dr. Das.
Welcome on behalf of PMA and WellBrained. And a lot of people are here glued today to listen to you guys, because I'm sure that they are here to take your nuggets, the kind of the ideas and the information which you are going to share is going to be really grossly absorbed by all of them. So my question to you, the biggest fear which is among most of the youngsters nowadays, that they always think that AI has come, now we have to become more smarter. People already are in a race, or a kind of a rat race, that they have to outperform technology, but now it is getting 10 times more faster. So how do you think these youngsters should be really preparing themselves? Because I'm sure a lot of people who are joining back from Saudi and Pakistan, they definitely are having this fear in their mind that since AI has come and they have to really pace up with the artificial intelligence or alien intelligence, as you say. So how exactly they are going to compete? What kind of preparations, or they should not be, afraid about this, because people are having the fear that due to AI, the people are going to be jobless, and this news is there everywhere that 85 million jobs are going to be out by 2027, and new jobs are going to come, but it's going to take time in phases. So what exactly, you are working with the top company, and you are a chartered accountant, and you are doing a lot of accounting. So what kind of information you are keeping on this for it? What exactly is your standpoint?
Thank you, Dr. Das. So AI has already become a part of us. I think knowingly, unknowingly, with conscious, without conscious, we are using it somehow. And I think we don't need to be frightened, or we don't need to be afraid about it, especially the students. You don't need to do something extraordinary to learn AI. Even in fact, today, just Google. And in fact, I take it from Mr. Arnab. He just mentioned that he was given an example of his child, and how the advertisement pops up selling things. So just Google it, the courses on data analytics and generated AIs. People will start calling you somehow the moment you fill one form. So what we need to think is exactly when we need to start to make it as a part of our learning process. I think the time is now. This is the phase when we are actually understanding the AI in itself. A lot of people talk about AI, but essentially they are talking about robotic process automation, which is a subset of the total AI horizon, I would say. So I think essentially, if I talk about India and scenario, maybe in Pakistan to a great extent, talking to many of friends of mine there, I think as soon as you are done with your higher secondary, is a time you start familiarizing yourself with the AI and techniques. I think that's the right time. And if you still miss the bus, no problem. I think it's never too late to start. Start as soon as you can. You don't need to be a coder. Just understand how it works and what value add it can bring into your work. That's all. As a bookkeeper or as an accountant or as a chartered accountant, if I need to prepare the financials, I need to understand how it helps me. And I think that's where I start from. If I know a lot of my tasks can be automated with the help of AI, I think that is pretty much it for now. And then the next step would be how it adds value to my client. I think that's the approach that I would suggest for anyone who's maybe thinking to go toward this particular line of action to take these steps.
I would go to our next speaker who has recently joined, Professor Ashutosh. Welcome, Professor Ashutosh. Professor Ashutosh, welcome first of all, and I'm thankful that you had a lot of occupancy in the first half of the day, and I'm aware of that. But still, you could keep your words, and you have shown up. That's a big thing for us. So welcome you for this webinar. So, Professor Ashutosh, I just wanted to ask you on a quick note that we can see that there is a digital divide, which is very much evident in a country like India and or in Pakistan or in other countries where we are still a developing country. And we could see that people are trying to pace up with the technology. And we know that government in every country is trying to, proliferate the mankind, democratize the technology, bringing some new opportunities. So what exactly do you think the standpoint from every individual, what exactly they should think? That we should think that we are helpless because of this disruption, or we should think that we are really very fortunate because we are seeing these things happening? Because if I say in our times we didn't even have this AI, or we have now seen the AI when we are already grown up, maybe the next generation is thinking that, okay, now AI is here, tomorrow my kids will get a job or not, or I will be thinking that, okay, the next generation might be working on a new technology. So we should think we are fortunate or we are unfortunate that we are born in this century, because people who are born in 19th century definitely has not seen AI, and I'm sure they're not worried about it. So I think people now who are living, they should be fortunate about this disruption, or they should be really afraid or think that we are very unfortunate.
Right. So thank you for giving me this opportunity, sir. So good evening all. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
So thank you for asking such a nice question to me. Actually, I would say AI is an double-edged sword. There are benefits. Absolutely, there are benefits. It automates our work, like Karan sir was saying and Arnab sir was also explaining. So AI helps in many ways. It automates our work. It gives a structure, like I'm an academician, so I take help of AI. But depending on AI is what creates the problem. Extra dependency and just being reliant on AI, that creates the problem. Now, if I am drafting something and I just put it before my senior without using my own brain, just the work of AI, I put it before my senior, that will create disasters. Because AI has a limitation. Your brain is not having any limitation. So I would say disruption is actually a bit helpful also, a bit dangerous also. So I have given you both the sides as per my experience. Mostly if it is used properly and you know where to use, how much to use, and where to stop using. That's the main thing where people should understand, that where to stop using AI. If you don't understand where to stop using AI, you will stop using your EI also. That's where the problem starts. So if you lose your EI, that creates the trouble. The human element is, if the human element is missing from your work, it's completely the machine who is doing it. Then human requirement is gone. That's where the problem lies. So we have created the AI and we should know how to use it.
Thank you so much, Professor Ashutosh, for highlighting this wonderful fact. So it comes out that we should strike a balance between emotional intelligence and artificial intelligence, and we should bridge up the gap by empowering our senses and understanding that it is the human intelligence which controls AI and not AI which controls the emotional intelligence. Neither we should also think that it is going to replace the human intelligence. Of course, it will be there, but as Professor Ashutosh rightly said, that we have to think more responsibly and we have to know where to draw the line. So with this, I will go to Professor Basu with the next question, which is just followed by that. Since Professor Basu is handling both the commercial part as well as academic part, and you are also related with different other projects. So, sir, I just want to ask you a question that how you think that artificial intelligence is influencing the behavior of, the business leaders, because you are definitely saying that people are reacting in different ways. And recently, as you have been giving, earlier in the day we are having discussion that this webinar is so time appropriate. Everywhere the leaders are talking about artificial intelligence. So how do you think that the behavior of the common man and the leaders are going to be, after the advent of AI, and how exactly the behavioral pattern has been changed? Do you think that people are getting in a particular format and they're again getting stuck in some kind of matrix? What is your thought on that?
Okay, so there are several aspects of looking into it. Okay, as the world is moving very fast and leaders need new options or new directions, for that they are very much optimistic of the growth. Okay, now how they look into it as business leaders is they want an ecosystem which will help or enable them to take decision faster. Okay, now I'll give you an example of talent acquisition, which is very close. Now a lot of organizations see that recruiting talent is a challenge. Why? Because you don't get appropriate talent. There is always chance of misfit. There is always a chance that within that 20 or 30 minutes of the interaction, what the participant actually talks or the candidate talks, the recruiting manager goes through it. Or there could be biases of the recruiting manager, okay, and basis that he selects or he crosses out a candidate. Okay, now the second thing is that as a recruiting manager I need to also talk to my line managers or functional managers who would be taking the second round of interview. Now if a right candidate does not come to the pipeline or fall in the recruitment pipeline, there is a fatigue in this manager also. Okay, so as business leaders of HR field, if I look into that, I would look into two aspects. One is, can I use AI in first shortlisting or scrutinizing the right profile from the CVs or profiles that I have? Okay. Second is, once I have shortlisted this profile, can I give an assessment or can I take a quick questionnaire through them, through which I get a sense of what they have done or what potential they have. Okay, so knowledge and skills could be evaluated to that. Okay, and then what I do presently, there are also apps, you would be surprised to see, and everybody would be astonished to learn that there are apps also who does the work of the line managers also. So a candidate actually sits with the bot or the AI and gives the interview, and finally the line manager or the recruiting manager just has a normal chat analyzing on the data and finding him whether that candidate is a fit or a misfit. So as business leaders, this is just an instance. Okay, now every domain, whether it is manufacturing, whether it is medical, whether it is IT, everywhere business leaders are trying to reduce the entire work cycle. Okay, and if you can reduce this work cycle, the efficiency actually goes up. Okay, and there is less of time loss. So I would have a competitive advantage over the other. So previously, you guys would know that logistic used to play, or supply chain used to play, an important role in the cost cutting, because products are same, pricing is almost cutthroat, competitive. Okay, now it is, the people pillar and the AI which would create a disruption. And the business leaders who can harness this better, faster, and in the right way, I think so they would have an edge. And as our esteemed panelist already talked about, that AI describes people, AI defines people, AI defines the choices, the likings, the preferences. And as business leader, if I'm a marketing guy, I would try to make the best use of it, and I would like to pitch my products. I would like to attract my customers in that way. So yes, as business leaders, it's something which they can leverage and they can take it forward from here on. That's my take on this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Basu, for wonderfully describing this answer. So with this, another question which opens up, but then I will go to Arnab on this. Arnab, if you can just quickly highlight on the fact that how do you think that this artificial intelligence or the technology which we are bringing in can remain unbiased? Because as he rightly pointed out, that when we are screening people, that sometimes can be human biases. And since the people are using this technology, so with the slightest mistake, our decisions can be biased. So how do you think that the people who are really using technology, or they are deploying AI in different segments of the business, and you being a trainer, what do you think? How we can ensure that AI to be more unbiased and it is free from any kind of discrimination?
So, firstly, like he said, bias is very human usually, right? So, when I'm interviewing a candidate, let's say, because I have done it, I do it, and sometimes kind of make the students face, or I sit with the students to give them a feel of how an interview feels. So often I have seen this happen with myself as well, that when an interviewee comes in and sits across the table, the moment he walks into the room, I kind of get a perception based on the way he dresses, based on his facial features, etc., and by the way he introduces himself or just wishes me. I make a mental idea that this is the kind of person he is, right? And that is based on my experiences, what I have seen happen in the past. Yes, this is what AI is being trained on, definitely. But where AI would be different from me is probably AI would have more feeds from multiple more inputs, which would enable AI to probably be more specific and give a more appropriate answer to that question. Is this person more fit for this position? Now, when I'm talking to a person across the table, that's more personal, right? And that is where my perceptions would play a role, right? Now, when I have trained my AI model on what I need rather than what I am choosing or what I had been choosing, that's where the difference is. I trained my AI model on my precise requirements. So my AI model is not going to choose based on my perceptions, my preconceived notions, but it would choose exactly on the guidelines that were given to it. Now that's probably, I wouldn't say probably, that's actually the best fit, to be very honest. I wouldn't be able to do that. I would definitely have somewhere at the back of my mind, I would have a second thought about something else, maybe a previous perception, I have interacted with somebody like that, somebody I know spoke like that, etc. But AI being trained exactly on what is required and what's expected out of an interviewee would be judging him exactly on his capabilities and not on the perceptions. I think that's something which definitely would be a win-win in a way.
And Arnab, sorry, Dr. Das, I would
Yeah,
like
please,
to
please.
barge in. Arnab, you would be glad to know the accuracy rate is more than 90% in such selections through the AI, because your input points are not one factor. The AI is
Absolutely.
actually taking a lot of use cases and then creating a judgment. Whereas
Absolutely.
we
Absolutely.
as human beings, we have biases. We create personas. What you rightly said, that when you see a person, when you see his maybe the way he's talking, the way he's moving in, the way he's dressed up, everything, you try to create a persona of that person. Okay, AI also does that, but basis that persona, there are other aspects also simultaneously they consider, which as human beings we are not able to do, because we are
Absolutely.
constrained through our opinion, through our biases, through our resistance. Okay, and as human being we would always have a best case scenario and a worst case scenario
Correct.
on which we will start working, whereas an
Absolutely.
AI would have a millions of that, permutation and combinations which is going on, and that's the reason it would take a far advanced, far better decision, as you rightly pointed.
Absolutely. And more importantly, the inputs that has gone into that AI model is not just my inputs, it's mine, yours, Professor Das's,
Perfect.
Arijit's, everybody's.
Yeah,
So,
100%.
so the multitude of inputs would ensure that the perfection of the choice would be even more perfect.
See,
Agreed.
and that is where training of individuals on AI is very important in today's world. How people get trained to use AI and how they can start consuming this as an ecosystem. I think that's very important.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
yeah, over to you, Dr. Das.
So I'm so thankful that you really highlighted this part that this AI is really going to make such a wonder. And we should understand that how exactly this disruption is going to be helpful for us. So I just have a quick question for Karan here. Karan, what exactly you think is going to be the role of emotional intelligence in an AI-driven workplace? Because tomorrow I'm sure every office, every organization will be flooded with AI, and everywhere people would be having a lot of algorithms and technology, and we know that we are always having biases, so people would immediately say that, oh, you're emotional, so you're not going to bias me with your decision. So I am not going to listen to you. I'm rather going to listen to my chatbot or my AI tool, which is going to give me much more unbiased answer. So there immediately the question can come, what role the emotional intelligence is going to play? Because the moment we say emotion, the misnomer in society still is there that emotion means, okay, it's weakness. Emotion means you are really being sucked by your human feelings. So it's not always that. So how exactly we see emotion in the modern world, emotional intelligence in the modern world? So what exactly do you think the emotional intelligence will play in an AI-driven workplace?
Absolutely. So I think unguided AI research or any model that is being prepared without taking into consideration the AI is of no value add, to be honest. I think I've always said that on multiple platforms that AI has to be used to solve bigger problems. And how do we identify problems? It's through AI. So if I can choose AI to solve a lot of problems that are already there, I think that's where my emotional intelligence is guiding me ethically to use the technology in the favor of mankind. Now, just to kind of give an example here, let's say a government is trying to predict a pattern of how people are falling sick through particular seasons. In fact, I was talking to one of the doctors about 4 days back. Interestingly, he told me a statistics. He said, I asked him a question. He said, "Doctor, can I go for a flu shot?" He said, "Not the best time now. Choose the flu shot around June or July." I said, "Why June or July? This is the coldest season that we have." I'm here in Punjab, and then this is the best, just to kind of protect ourselves from any viral infections. He said, Karan, you would be surprised to know, according to the studies, and he did mention that this was the help of AI was also taken into account in predictive analysis, and the success rate of the vaccination, which is changed every year. So he said, majority of the people fall sick in the season when it is going from cold to summer, winters to summer, and not from summer to winters. It's the other way around. And we think that no, whenever there are winters, we are falling sick. He said, so it has to be guided. And where the guidance comes from, it comes from emotional intelligence. I think that's where we need to strike a balance. And if we understand that, I think that the very first question that you asked about, the fear of AI will definitely go away, because we are trying to solve bigger problems here through the technology.
Absolutely. So I think we have spoken enough about the fear part. We have spoken about the opportunity, and we'll quickly go to the FNA, and we'll have a lot of questions and answers from people, the audiences. But before that, I would quickly ask a question here to Mr. Hassan, who has been our host, and he has been kind enough to host this wonderful program today. So, Mr. Hassan, from your standpoint, when you are exactly talking to the people as the CEO of WellBrained, what exactly the challenges do you find people really face learning about AI? Do you think that people are really receptive to learn the new technology, or they are still having the kind of apprehension that we should not really learn AI? Maybe it's not the high time.
Actually, there's confusion prevailing here. People are confused about how to use AI, when to use AI, and whether to use AI or not. Because there are so many options, there are so many platforms where AI is available. But when it comes to using AI as a tool to improve the gun, they're confused. Let me explain how. For instance, when it comes to studies, doing the assignments, as Ms. Karan mentioned earlier, that AI is to solve bigger problems. But what we do here in subcontinent, we solve small problems, a little problem, with the help of AI. Actually, we are distracted. The use of AI should be preached, should be taught, and they should be taught about how to use AI to good effect, and what bigger problems can be solved with AI if they are guided properly. So this is basically something which is a very core area. I mean, to people who are learners, they need to know that AI is there to help them, but to help them solve bigger problems. It is not there to solve petty issues, petty problems, because there are certain tasks which are given to them, and they use AI just to get away, just to get rid of the burden they have of studies, they have of a little chaos, or certain tasks which are given to them, which are assigned to them. So they do not see the bigger picture. And this is how they're distracted.
I just want to come in and ask you a question. Like, as you say, that people don't see the bigger picture. So do you think that somewhere we can help them? Somewhere we can help them by giving them some kind of clue at the end of the workshop or at the end of this webinar?
We'll do.
I would probably add in to him. I have personally seen this. Sorry to interrupt here, but this is something very, very important, because what I actually noticed with these, these guys are BTech students, final year or final year students, and these guys are studying AI, right? Their core subject is AI. Interestingly, like he mentioned, these students are using AI to write their resumes. As weak as that. So the usage, which should have been to sharpen my resume, rather than that, they're writing their basic resume using AI, which is where the entire thing, the requirement of it, the charm of the strength of AI is failed.
See, I would Arnab see it in a little different way. It's again the emotional intelligence where it comes in, because the person who is using the tool, that person has to be wise enough in knowing that where to use the tool. And if you use the tool in the wrong manner, it is not the problem of the tool, it is the problem who is using it. So I think we have to be wiser when we are using this tool, and that is why probably Like you see, there was a time when people are worried that if our kids are going to use AI for doing their homework, then what it will be. And even the professors are also here. They are worried that if their students are going to use AI for doing the research work, and that's why there is the plagiarism tool. So that is how exactly it is being caught. So for everything, you have now technology. Again, to catch the AI, there is an AI. So you have definitely the
I
superior.
think here I would probably turn that around. To catch AI, I've been using EI. So, for example, there was this scenario where this person had actually written his resume, and it looked to me there were certain factors in the resume that looked to me that this was an AI output, and he had basically included his hobbies in that, which mentioned Eastern music. So I asked him, okay, I asked him a particular question in Eastern music, and he couldn't answer a very, very basic thing, that how many counts in one particular, rhythm. And he couldn't answer. So I went back to the point that this has been created using something else, and you didn't write it. Why did you even include that? Didn't you even see it before you? So that's the point. He made it using AI is not my problem. My problem is that after having you made it using AI, he didn't check it before submitting it.
True. Agreed. So I think we would
One more thing I would like to add here.
quickly
One
go
more
to
thing I would like to-
the audience. We'll give them the turn. So I think they may have some questions because we
I would
are
like to-
If you open up the Q&A.
Yeah. So, Dr. Das, I would like to add something here.
Yeah, please.
As Karan mentioned, AI is to be fed by human beings. The case is the other way around here. We are being fed by AI. So this is a problem. This is where the problem lies. I'm talking about the youngsters. So they learn from AI. They do not teach AI what to be taken away from them. Yeah.
Very unfortunate there.
So the moment we are saying that we are fed by AI, we also have to decide that whether we have to eat or not. We are the one who is consuming.
Absolutely.
Very important point.
So the thing is, we should use our mind while we
That's the good old saying again, Dr. Das. That's the good old saying again. You can take the horse to the water. Whether it drinks or not is absolutely up to him.
Absolutely. So I think we should open the floor for Q&A because I think a lot of people are here. So I would request if they have any question, they can ask our learned speakers and they can go with their questions. Whoever wants to ask the question can go to the React window and you can choose the hand, the digital hand, and you can raise your hand like this and you can ask the question, something like this. And once your question is asked, you can lower the hand. So go to the React section or you can open up your video. You can also ask questions. If anyone is here at this point who would like to ask any questions, I can understand a lot of people are curious and many of them are seeing us for the first time. So yes, Mr. Hassan, you can also
questions. Yeah, you have so many questions to ask. I know that, but don't be fearful because we are here to remove your fear, to reduce your fear.
Yeah,
So
and the first thing which you can do is open your video so that your fear is gone. If you are just hiding behind the camera, your fear will never go away. Okay, so the first thing you have to do is open your video. So yes, Ms. Gunjan has opened the video, not for you, but again for so many youngsters who are here. So Ms. Gunjan, what exactly do you think? You are basically a professional, HR professional, and you have been listening very patiently. What do you think about the whole thing? How this is going to be a game changer? Do you think this information which our experts have shared today, how they are going to be helpful? What exactly are the changes you're going to see?
This discussion was overall very useful and interesting. And I was just thinking overall, what is the future of AI? Matlab, it's just going and going and going. What's the future? What exactly, like everything now I can see in operations and I'm in recruitment, so obviously I need it on daily basis for basic stuff itself. But then till what extent and how to manage
I think Professor Basu will be the right person because he's also working in the talent acquisition segment. and he day in and day out he uses technology for handling these challenges. So over to Professor Basu for this.
See, Ms. Gunjan rightly pointed out till what extent. I'll keep it very short. Till the extent you want to use it.
But
You
there's no
can,
limit for anything. Na? See, I have kids also, and my daughter is obviously now she's in 8th standard, going into 9. And for school projects, for everything, now kids are like we used to do things in older ways, searching from magazines, books, newspapers, keeping things in records and using them. Now they don't need anything; they just open chatbot or Copilot or any of the app, and they similarly find out things and do it on shorter note or longer note, whatever basic it requires, and above it, they improve it with the help of Grammarly, and also all things are just totally dependency on that.
They are being served with everything on their plate.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
See, I'll just add on to this, Ms. Gunjan. I think so. Using this is also an intelligence. Like you said, there are different platforms which your kids are actually exploring.
Correct.
We used also similar things which was not on a media platform or which was not on this scale. We used the year old technique of referring through workbooks, okay, and our research was limited to our abilities. Try to understand, I would refer 4 books or 5 books or an encyclopedia to get that information and then create my project. Today's generation has the opportunity, like you rightly mentioned, to explore numerous options, and their quality of research is far advanced than us. Now, how do they work with it?
फिर आप आते ही नहीं आना ये बोल रही हूँ हैं
Request you to mute.
Yeah.
If you can mute. Yeah, please go ahead.
So, actually, how do you go ahead in working with that research is the big question. You have
That's
done
the
your
point.
groundwork.
I think guiding these people who are using this part of AI is extremely important.
Perfect.
That, okay, get that information, but utilize it in the right way, modify it to fit your requirement. That is the training that's required for most people at this minute. That's what I would think.
So,
Back to you.
Arnav, I would like to add. So, when Ms. Gunjan said, so my son participates in a lot of UN programs. Okay. So I understand the challenge. When he thinks about, let's say, a policy, a climate change policy of Brazil, that is what he represents. Now, in our time, when we used to open up different research books, different, workbooks, different sources, and from there we used to collect. Now, what he does, he actually uses AI to filter in that data. Now, when he has all this gamut of data, he actually reads through it and then he customizes it to the audience, target audience, to where he's speaking. What could be a counteractive questions? He prepares for that even before. Now, when he is using his mind or emotional intelligence to customize that data to his consumption, that is what we require.
Absolutely, spot on.
Otherwise, the examples which you were saying, that probably I prepare a CV and I incorporate something through the AI, which sources probably from my some likes in a social media, and from there probably they have done it, okay? And that could be, it can capture something else also, which I had seen or which I've liked at some point of time. And that could be also included in my profile or my CV. But if I do not know what is in it, I cannot communicate. So there probably, what we are talking about, fake news, fake information, misleading informations could be created through the same thing. So, Ms. Gunjan, you understood what your child is doing is excellent, but till what extent you want to use it would be on your benefit. Till what benefit you want to use it, you customize it. And that's where probably everybody, we are all talking on that we need to harness AI, not AI needs to harness us. So that's the game changer.
Correct. Yesterday only I came across somebody that female is trying to develop or has developed a software which helps like for PhD students. They prepare thesis and everything. So this female has upgraded a app based service with the help of AI and her skills, which can check out how much percentage of project has been used with the help made with the use of help
Correct.
of AI, and how much human brain has been used. So this kind of thing she's been trying to develop, or she's in some stage. Both things
Precisely,
working together.
this is what he was also mentioning, that the best way what his child does is he gets the information from AI and then consumes it and
Hmm.
then prepares the
Yes.
next presentation from himself. That's precisely what should happen. So the consumption is up to you. How you consume it is absolutely up to you. I want to copy paste it, or do I want to read it? And I go back to my childhood when people used to tell me that I have always been a science oriented guy because I couldn't, memorize stuff. So here's the same thing. Whether you would copy paste it is more memorizing. And the other factor is whether you understand and deliver, which is basically understanding what AI gives you and then representing it how you feel best based on the kind of people you are talking to, the kind of forum you are speaking in, or the kind of questions you are going to answer. Does that make sense, Gunjan?
Yeah, absolutely. It makes sense.
Correct.
I'm
Correct. Correct.
sure
Yes.
Gunjan, got your answer, but here I would just like to add one more thing. Let's see, only the generations are changing. Like, for example, when computer started, it was basically a plain, monochrome computer, and then it was just like a television, and today it is just a laptop, and maybe moving ahead, it would be something else. So, what exactly is changing? Only the generations are changing, and with that, the perceptions are changing. So, previously, if you are like referring to Encyclopedia Britannica, today your children are referring to some AI software, or they are using particular AI platform. Only thing is that the perceptions are changing. Rather, I should say that our generation may not have used the wonders of AI. Now they are getting more empowered. You are more empowered. So what we are talking about LLMs, tomorrow we would find like we would be using a technology which is like generative AI, which we have not even seen. So what will happen? We will find a lot of hardwares are being now involved into that. We'll find that tomorrow robots are really running the show. It might happen. But what exactly we are doing? We are going for a betterment. But the wisdom lies in how we apply emotional intelligence in driving the technology. So I think we are good to go. Thank you so much. But here, before we finish up, I just still ask any of our audience if they have any questions. Any of you have any questions at this point? Yes?
I think Manur has it.
Yeah.
Manur,
Hello
feel free.
everyone, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yes.
Okay. As a student of human resource, I'm already seeing that AI is replacing HR functions like hiring, performance evaluation. Okay. So, what's the future? Will AI replace the HR job?
I would like to answer you this question here, Manu. Thank you for asking this question. See, AI is definitely not here to replace the human race. Rather, it is here to empower the human race. As we have discussed in this entire forum today, that human intelligence has gone to a different level of excellence. And that is possible because of this technology intervention. So today, if you are talking about the kind of disruption or the empowerment which is happening, because we have to know how to use this technology. So today, if you talk of ATS, or you talk about any kind of AI driven HRMS or AI intervention technology which is trying to enhance the process of human resource. So without people, the organization doesn't exist. Now imagine that if the planet Earth, we don't have any humans and there are only robots, which you see in the science fiction. So what will happen? So it will really die. So the planet cannot run on robots, right? So far the mankind is thinking that we are bringing in technology, but the technology has to be used by human beings. Take a simple example. if you are using even any of the tools, like if you're using, for example, Gemini or ChatGPT to write a paragraph for you or write a CV for you, if you do not use the right prompt, if you don't give the right, the queue of query, it will never be able to design it as per your requirement. Similarly, when I'm selecting a particular, talent or a candidate, I have to understand that what kind of, the candidate I'm looking for, whether the candidate sentiment or the ethics are matching with my organization, and that is done again by a human intelligence, not by machine. Machine can always come and make your work simpler. In my organization, for example, I have a setup policy, but I have to understand that how I have to connect that particular human intelligence with the machine, and machine is only making my work scalable. So if there are HR software, these softwares are basically making work more easier so that you can focus more on the constructive things and the things which require more time, where you can use your emotional intelligence or EI for the right way. So that is what actually is the whole thing. Yes,
Manu, I would like to say this.
Professor Ajit has to add some point. Please, over to you.
Arijit, go ahead.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, right.
See, I was curious because she's also from the HR and she has a pain area. That's what I sense. Miss, I would like to say, in a piece of paper, note down what are some of the activities where you are investing more time and which is not critical. Okay, mention that. Second is, note down what are some of the things where you are doing duplication of activities, which probably you are not required at all. Now, if you note down certain things of, let's say, 10 tasks, you will figure out, 6 or 7 tasks will fall in such nature, which is repetitive in nature, which is not that of importance, where you do not need your brain. Okay. Assign that work to AI and take out the time and try to work more strategically, thinking what could be done new, what could be done maybe from 3 years now. That is what you have to think. And to do on that, again go back to AI, take references, take patterns, take comparative analysis from different organizations, and then create and come up with something new. I think that's where you would be far above AI, and you would be the boss of AI and AI would not be your boss. So you don't lose on jobs in that way. Don't worry.
Right. Absolutely.
Also, I think AI is not replacing, it's just modifying the type of work and it's helping it to upgrade. It's not replacing, it's not removing HR jobs. Even
It's
I am from
enhancing.
the industry.
Enhancing. I will put it.
It's
Enhancing.
totally enhancing,
Forcing you
correct.
to enhance yourself. It's
Perfect.
kind of forcing you to enhance yourself.
It has improved so many things, like obviously ATS, as sir mentioned, and so many softwares which can help us in reducing our time and everything and getting into a perfect shortlisting of profiles.
Absolutely.
Let me
Anu?
take all of you back to the COVID times, where when COVID happened, actually
Yeah.
all of us we were fearful that we would be sitting alone at home and we would be doing things virtually, and now there'll be no scope for us. But as time went by, we found a new normal with COVID. So similarly, with AI, we are going to be normalizing things, and AI is a new normal. As we discussed the other day with we had a session, Primankul and I, we were discussing that with AI literacy, we are having a generation where AI is a new normal, and the world is a new normal world with AI equipment, and the people who are equipped with AI, they're living in a new normal world, and they're not unusual. They're absolutely normal. But adopting AI is important, and this is what our webinar is all about. And this is why we are here gathered together. And something very, very special is coming to be shared to all the audience, all the participants here pretty soon.
Okay. So as we talk about AI adoption, I just want to say here one important thing, that there are two things in life very important. One is adoption and other is adaptation. So what do you think, guys, are important? I throw this question to the open forum. What comes first, adoption or adaptation?
Adaptation.
Adaptation?
Justify, please, Maham.
Okay. So any other answer from anyone? Is it adoption or adaptation? What comes first? See, there was a Darwin's law which says survival for the fittest. So, this is such a golden line, and I'm sure like it will never get old. It's a timeless line which our forefathers have learned, we have learned, and our next generation will also learn. Survival for the fittest. So it's time where the human race is being challenged, and we are at the forefront of deciding that what to do. So we have thought that why not we bring up something called a smart AI adoption. So today we are actually here to declare that we are launching a program called a Smart AI Adoption. And the objective of this program is to make sure that no one is left behind. Because the biggest fear of the mankind of fear of missing out. That's why when you put a photo in your social network, you always think that, okay, how many people have liked me, or they have really ghosted me, or people are not seeing me. That is a big thing for people in this generation. But what is really important that you should know that how to really go with the flow. And that's why we are thinking that adoption is very necessary at this point, because people are coming from different segments, and I'm sure they're curious. And half-cooked information is always dangerous, because today if I ask a person that what is AI, I'm sure most of the people will answer about whether ChatGPT, they will say Gemini, they will say Copilot, that's all. But if you ask them beyond that, maybe nowadays little bit they know about AGI. So I think this is what they give you. And wherever I'm going during my entire tour of AI, I'm hearing people are talking about advancement, people are talking about sustainability, but how this revolution is going to happen unless and until we train our mind. So for that, somewhere we have to make the initiative. So PMA and WellBrained has thought of bringing a revolutionizing program which is going to change your career. So if you're really interested, you can inquire further to Mr. Hassan, and you can also reach to Positive Mental Attitude. We are bringing up a program called a Smart AI Adoption, which would be an entire integrated program which can be taken up virtually. And this is like 3 months and 6 months program, which can be done in addition to whatever like careers you are into. For further details, you can always go into our website. You will be getting all the details, and you can also download the e-brochure. So anyway, we just do not want to take much of your time by saying all this, because anyway, these informations are available now online if you can log into your website. But besides that, I still want to ask if you have any other questions from this entire discussion which comes out, that AI is definitely an opportunity and not a threat. Yes, over to Laiba. Laiba has a question. Yes.
Good day, everyone. I have a question related to HR and conversational AI. As an HR student myself and a person from Generation Z, I have noticed that AI-driven chatbots can respond with empathy by choosing words that sound caring and supportive. So I want to know, if conversational AI becomes more advanced in the future, would it replace human empathy in HR?
That's a good question. I think Professor Arijit would love to answer. But before Professor Arijit comes, I would like to say one thing here, Laiba, that empathy is one of the part of our emotions, right? So you cannot ever rule out empathy. See, empathy is the glue which sticks the culture, which sticks people together. So when you are saying that the machine is doing the work of, exercising empathy, that means that machines are learning from humans how to exercise empathy. So machines are learning the pattern that how we have to intimate. But we should not be dumb enough to understand that how exactly we should be empathetic enough and intelligent at the same time to understand that whether it is just a mechanical one or it's a genuine empathy. So, now we have to be intelligent enough to understand, emotionally intelligent, that how exactly the empathy can be really exercised. So if you see that today, if you are talking to any of the chatbots, they talk just like a human, and they really are very sensible. And that's why people say that we are not talking to any software, we are talking to a completely new species, and they really can emote the human emotions, right? So it will definitely not replace, but we have to be smarter in understanding that how the HR actually can be the the important part. Of course, over to Professor Arijit, who can add on more into that. Professor Arijit, if you have to add something.
Yeah, two things, Lavia. There is a fine line of difference between emotional intelligence and emotional labor. Okay, there's a beautiful topic about emotional labor. What you're talking about is few words, few emotions, few sentiments. When you put it into AI and AI starts analyzing or characterizing these words, and from there they give judgments. Okay, now from HR point of view, you will feel that okay, this is the emotional aspect or emotional intelligence which is working. But emotional intelligence has four quadrants in which you have to work. AI would not be able to profoundly work in all of those things. So when you move forward, because all the data has been given or feeded to this, and basis that feeding of data, where human intervention is required, somewhere we have seen as of now, somewhere there is a gap which will come out. And basis that human interventions from HR point of view is always required. That's the reason all the analysis, everything about talent acquisition or talent management would be done through AI. But when it comes to finalize the candidate, there a personal intervention has to come, because there, basis all the data that you get, you need to recalibrate, rework basis your internal culture fit, basis the requirement of the initial discussions. So I think so what you said, right? Chatbots or AI will work towards that dimension, but still there would be gap areas where your intervention would be required. That's as of now, but you can still build on it.
Zabe also has a question. Zabe, feel free to ask.
We will be able to take two more questions because we are closely coming to an end. We are already running 20 minutes more than our scheduled time. So we have to release our speakers. Yes, two more questions. So Zaid can go with the question, please.
Okay, I have a question. I'm a college student pursuing my bachelor's in business administration, and I see a lot of students utilizing ChatGPT for their assignments. But I do know for the fact that ChatGPT is not capable enough to solve mathematical calculations. So, do you think ChatGPT would be advanced enough in the near future to solve all these mathematical calculations properly?
I would ask Mr. Karan to answer this question because he comes from that domain of mathematics and finance. So over to Mr. Karan.
100%. It'll be so it's already in process, I would say. Having said that, whether you want to choose it or not, it's your choice. Again, coming from the EI perspective, but definitely AI has already gone beyond at least my expectation in terms of solving complex issues, even for accounting knowledge and taking in opinions. Now we are using generative AIs. So that's the level that we have achieved now. So definitely, I think that is not that far. That day is not that far.
Right, right. And maybe in addition, I would also ask Professor Ashutosh to highlight a little bit because he, being an academician, I'm sure facing these challenges every day in, day out, that how students are getting over dependent on AI. So what exactly you really do at that point of time and what kind of, normalization you really follow?
So first of all, AI cannot have that emotional depth which a human being has. So the emotional touch, the empathy which we were talking about, then we have to identify and monitor the emotional cues. The basically what and where the problem lies. Why are people getting so much dependent? Because it is saving their time, and because they are uh, basically not using their brains because they think it is becoming very easy. The main problem is they have all become very short visioned. They're not looking at the long term result which they will get through this process.
Correct.
So that's where the human intervention is required. So
Right.
genuine emotional depth only humans can bring.
Absolutely.
One intelligent question was asked from some student. I don't remember the name now, sorry. But she asked, can AI replace human beings? And while we put some empathetic terms while the search and all everything, the AI also answers with empathy. So it is again based on keywords which you are putting. So the human touch is missing again. Humans have the ability to respond with true empathy and understanding. So based on the human touch is based on experiences and emotional awareness. AI lacks that emotional context. It lacks that depth. So when it comes to offering personalized care and giving complex emotional support or handling deeply personal situations, human intervention remains indispensable. AI cannot replace human efforts and human intervention. It cannot. So
I would be taking one
I would
final.
just like to give. I would just like to quote one
Okay.
person who is known to all, CEO of Microsoft, Satya Nadella. He said, "Emotional intelligence is not about replacing humans, but about enhancing human abilities." This has been repeatedly told by every speaker. So, if something comes from a renowned person, it sticks into the head. That's why it has been repeatedly told by every speaker. But I just quoted this sentence from Satya Nadella so that people can remember this and keep this in their mind. So, yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much. I would take one more final question and then maybe closing by Mr. Hassan. So the last question by Rumesa. I could see Sayada also has a question. Okay, we'll take up Sayada's question also. Rumesha, if you can quickly go with your question.
Yeah, hello everyone. I have a question. Is AI making freelancing and gig work more competitive or creating new opportunities?
That's a good question. Arnab, would you like to answer? Or
I
Professor?
actually couldn't understand the question clearly.
If you can ask again, Rumesha.
Master, come again.
Yeah, I'm asking, is AI making freelancing and gig work more competitive or creating new opportunities?
Okay, so yes, it would create more opportunities, definitely. On the other side, will it make it more competitive? I would probably answer it the other way around. Rather than looking at AI as competition, again, like it was mentioned by, I think, all of the speakers in this webinar today, that rather than thinking of AI as competition, you should be thinking of AI as a partner rather than competition. So not really competition, I would, but definitely it's making it better.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, and one more thing I just want to add here, Sayada. Of course, a lot of gig works are going to happen and is going to come up because this is just the beginning and it's the tip of the iceberg. So you will find that tomorrow that people are having the entire, the power in their hand. So you name off any of the gig work, it's going to be done by AI just in a wink of an eye, and you will see that the thing is being done. So I'm sure like people are going to that age, and that's why it has been said that the AI is a smart trainer, which is going to really make entrepreneurship a completely a new thing. So you don't need too many, consultants to do your work, but AI is going to really transform the whole thing for you. So you just need a smart AI tool, and tomorrow your entire business is going to be taken care by your artificial intelligence.
And just like Arijit also mentioned that it would basically be that you use what he's given you and make it to fit your requirement. You don't entirely use it the way you are using it or way it is giving it to you, because it is based on the keywords anyways. So I am feeding it the information that it will build its content on. So I would, my putting it in the keywords is absolutely necessary.
Yeah, and you have to know how to
So
use.
again, I would like to add something.
Yeah, please.
Sorry for the intervention.
Yeah, please.
So AI can analyze the data. It cannot connect with the heart of the data. So again, even if you are using AI, even if you are using AI, you would require that human touch. If the gig work is increasing, the human work is also again increasing. To use the AI, you would need more human hands.
True.
Again, it won't happen that it won't happen that a person is sitting in office and he is doing everything. He will again require many more hands.
True.
So the human touch is still relevant and still important.
Yeah, maybe used at a different caliber. It will be
Right.
used at a different caliber, and that is why we are every time saying reskilling, upskilling is required. Okay, so we have to upskill the people, we have to skill them up, reskill them. That is important. So people, you imagine those who have been working in a technology and they have been stubborn that we think that this is the end of all, but no, it's just the beginning. So you are going to learn so many new technologies now, and everybody is going to learn and upskill themselves and retrain them. And I'm sure that we are going ready for a big war, and we have to adapt and adopt. So let's adopt a new phase of technology, new phase of living. As Mr. Hassan rightly said, it's a new normal life. So are we ready for the new normal life? So Zoom is actually the best example. So using currently the platform, I think before pandemic, people are not even dreamt of this kind of thing, that we'll be talking virtually to people, and that has given birth to so many new things, a new economy. A whole new economy has come because of artificial intelligence. And you never knew that sometimes the best thing can come in the disguise of a curse. So you might have seen that the COVID came and we have been thinking that the mankind has been cursed, but we have got so many new gift, and that technology is exactly is front of us. It's an evident that how it can transform the entire mankind. So I think with the positive note, we would like to finish, and the closing will be done by Mr. Hassan. So over to Mr. Hassan.
There is one question which is, I think,
But I cannot see any hand raise right now. Any more hand raises?
Sayeda had, I think so. Sayeda.
Okay, Sayada.
Yes, of
Sayada.
course. Hello, everyone.
Yes, hi.
I'm student of Muhammad Hassan, and I'm very thankful to him that he gave us this opportunity. My question is very simple and basic. As we are learning and we are taking session about the importance of AI. So recently I have taken HR as an elective. So what skills I must learn to just boost up and or to be remain relevant in the AI driven force?
Maybe I would request Professor Basu to answer this question.
See, if you're talking about a student with HR as an elective, I think so. Few of the courses that you are into, like talent acquisition, talent management, employee engagement, employee development, and the other one is probably you can look into the end-to-end life cycle of an employee. Okay, taking a span of, let's say, 18 months to 2 years, whichever country you are, and what is the employee lifespan in an organization, the minimum span which is now. Try to figure out that, and basis that into these segments, try to figure out what are the HR apps which are there, which will actually help you promote your learning and your understanding in that space. So go to those HR learning apps which is AI based. Try to figure out what is your contribution to them and how they can feed you back with information to take your audience through these phases of their journey into your profile or the organization that we work for. Okay, so for example, talent acquisition, how you can use AI. Talent management, how you can use AI. Succession planning, how you can use AI. So in all those things, for example, even when people is moving out of the organization, how you can capture their feedback to create the next employee life cycle in a far better way. So in that, break it down in your HR elective course. You have this different parts of the employee life cycle, and basis that, go and search for different AIs, understand what tools they will offer you to upscale your job. That's all. You did not worry about anything else. That's to keep it short.
Thank you so much.
Does that answer your thoughts or your question?
I think it has justified with her question. So we have no more time, and we are so thankful to all of you, all the speakers who have joined this wonderful program today. And over to Mr. Hassan.
Thank you so much, all the participants. Thanks so much, all the guests. It's been an experience. We have learned a lot. Learning never ends, as I keep saying it to everyone. And I have learned a lot as well today. So, students and all the attendees, I would like to share something. In fact, it's a revelation in terms of the announcement, and I'm absolutely thrilled and excited and ecstatic to reveal that we are going to launch a course, a training, which is going to be very, very special, and it's a game changer for all of you. We'll be equipping you with the tools of AI, and it'll be in the shape of AI adoption course. It'll be either a 3 month course or it'll be either a 6 month course, and it'll be taught by some tremendous people, and you'll learn a lot, and you'll be able to compete among the best in the business, and you'll be setting examples, you'll be setting trends, because you'll be able to use AI to good effect. And this why we are all here today. And I hope the message is convenient to everybody, and the questions are being asked. It shows that people are interested, and when there is interest, there is eagerness to learn, and when there is eagerness to learn, there is something that is given to you by the divinity. And I think we, in terms of this seminar or webinar, have had this divine intervention of technology, and it'll be taught to everybody who is interested. Because if you are to survive, as Dr. Das mentioned, it's the survival of the fittest these days. So be the fittest, be the best in the business. Otherwise, you'll not be considered, because nobody talks about who comes second, who plays the second fiddle. Everybody talks about who stands first. So be the first one. Be the first one to grab this beautiful, wonderful, amazing opportunity to learn about IT, AI adoption, and be the game changer yourself. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining this wonderful show. And I just want to also declare that those who are going to pre-book this entire program, the first 20 students who are going to pre-book this AI adoption program, they are going to get a special waiver of 10% at flat rate. And it is basically going to be for the next 15 days. So if you're really interested, you can inquire about this program to Mr. Hassan. Also, you can go into pmaedu.com to get the details of this program. You can download the e-brochure which is available for smart AI adoption. So over to Mr. Hassan. I think you can just give them the detail later on, and you can also be the single point of contact for all your people from your country. And at the same time, those who are connecting me, I can also help them. Thank you all those speakers, and have a lovely evening, and take care. And maybe we can connect once again for another one AI discussion. Thank you. Till then, take care and stay positive.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
It was an honor.
Thank you very much.
Good night, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.